Okay, what's up guys? So today I'm going to give you guys a nutrition plan. I get asked all the time, hey Chad, can you make me a nutrition plan? Chad, what should I be eating to gain weight or muscle? Chad, what should I be eating to lose weight? How much should I be eating? What types of food I should be eating, etc., etc. So instead of responding to everybody that asked me that question, I decided that now that I have a YouTube channel, I can make a video for everybody that asked me that question, and I specifically will tell you guys how or what you should be eating to lose weight, and how and what you should be eating to gain weight. By gaining weight, guys, I mean gaining muscle, like pretty much bulking versus cutting. So let's get into it, guys. Here we go. So first and foremost, we're going to go over weight loss. So before we talk about what we're going to eat or how we're going to eat, let's talk about our metabolism. So our metabolism is responsible for burning fat in our body, burning up and using calories for energy. So the way that we keep our metabolism rolling is by constantly feeding ourselves, but feeding ourselves with the proper nutrition. So think of your metabolism as a fire. The fire is roaring when you add logs to it. Logs equal food. So when you stop adding logs to the fire, the metabolism or the fire is going to dwindle. So that's why we're going to break it down, our meals, like so. We're going to have a breakfast, we're going to have a snack in between breakfast and lunch, and we're going to have a snack in between lunch and dinner. So each of these 5 meals are going to be broken down by 2 to 3 hour portions in between each. So let's get started with the breakfast. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner are all going to consist of a protein and a vegetable. So for breakfast, for example, what I do for breakfast is I have egg whites. Egg whites is your purest form of protein over any other source, even over chicken. So you can make an egg white omelet with any sort of vegetable. I like to use spinach and kale. I just throw it in there and make a nice omelet. Also guys, no dairy. We're cutting dairy completely from our diet when we're trying to lose weight. Secondly, we want to have a snack in between our lunch and our breakfast. That can be anything from a protein shake or a bar. One specifically that I like to use is RX bar. So right here, so what you're looking, RX bar right here. So what you're looking for in a snack is something decently high in protein, something relatively low in fat and carbs. Just something to keep our metabolism or the fire going. Just like a little log that we can throw into the fire. Alright, so now we're moving on to lunch. The best thing, and the thing that I personally do for cutting weight, is chicken and broccoli. So now we can start getting into amounts. So I have written down here the amounts for males and the amounts for females. Males, we want to have 5 to 8 ounces of protein with each meal. So for the chicken, if you're a larger guy and you're really trying to lose weight, we want to go on the low end of the spectrum at 5 ounces. If you're already a smaller dude and you're cutting for either a sport or for physique training, we're going to go we're going to go at the 8 ounce range. The reason we do that is the more protein we have, the more muscle we will retain as we're cutting the weight. So 2 to 3 hours later, we're going to have another snack. That can be anything from a protein shake or a supplement bar or a meal replacement bar. And then finally guys, another 2 to 3 hours later, we're going to have our dinner, which is another protein and vegetable. So something that we can have just to spice it up here, we can do any sort of white fish. The reason we do white fish is because white fish is low in our fat content. The fat is the main killer here. So everyone says carbs is your main killer. Not entirely true, which we're going to get into once we start adding a workout into this regimen. So for the fat piece though, we want to keep the fat always low. So that's why I recommend white fish instead of any sort of like tuna fish or salmon or just anything like swordfish, stuff that it's not a white fish obviously. So another vegetable that we can do is asparagus, spinach, broccoli, green beans, kale. Anyways, with the vegetables, it doesn't really matter about amounts or honestly really the type, just as long as we're getting our vegetables in and we can really eat as much vegetables as we want. The reason we can do this is because the vegetables is going to fill up our stomach and give us that feeling of being full. So it's going to produce a lot of volume. There's not a lot of calories in that volume, so it's going to fill up our stomachs, we're going to feel full, and we're not going to have cravings later on in the day. So To break this down one more time, breakfast, we're gonna have a protein vegetable. I always keep it the same. I always have the egg whites and I always have the vegetables mixed in as like an omelet style. Then the snack, it's always gonna be some sort of a protein shake, a meal replacement bar, something small, simple, that's low in fat, low in carbs, high in protein. Lunch, again, we're gonna do a protein and a vegetable. That can be anything from white fish, a chicken, a lean source or a lean cut of turkey or red meat, as long as it's lean. And then another snack, so another meal replacement bar, a protein bar, and another dinner, which is could be really anything you want. Again, chicken, fish, or vegetables. All right, guys, so you're probably wondering what happens when we start throwing a workout into this mix. This is where our carbs come in. So let's say, for example, let me get a piece of chalk. For example, let's say that I like to work out, I'm a morning workout person. So I'm gonna work out right here. So right with that yellow circle is gonna be our workout. So this is where we throw in carbs, and carbs become important because our body, our main source of energy is carbohydrates. So an hour before our workout, we're gonna have what's called a slow acting carb. This carb is something that breaks down slow in the body and provides us energy over a long course of time. Some examples of these are quinoa, brown rice, oatmeal, steel cut oats. So those are 4 really good ones that you guys can use. So an hour out, add that carb into your snack. So you're gonna have your meal replacement bar or protein shake, and then you're gonna throw in your carb amounts for that. 1 to 2 cups is a good range, nothing more than 2 cups, that's way too much. So we're gonna have that pre-workout. Now, our post-workout meal would fall under the lunch category if we're working out in between our snack and our lunch. So we're gonna add a carb to our lunch because we're working out in between that. And this carb is not a slow-acting carb. This is where we're going for our simple sugars, something that's gonna break down quick, restore the glycogen in our muscles. Some good examples of these are white rice. Honestly, white rice is the only one that I use. It's the best one, or even a banana, or fruits. They all break down really quickly in the body, restoring our muscles with energy and with glycogen. So, for workouts, guys, always your pre-workout meal, you're gonna have the slow-acting carb with whatever you would already have. And then post-workout meal, you're always gonna have, let's say it falls under the lunch category, the protein, the veggie, and you're gonna add that fast-acting carb. Like I said, it could be a fruit, it could be a potato, it could be anything really starchy, so white rice. Yeah, those are my favorite 3. So you kind of get a glimpse of what you should be eating around your workouts, which is only going to be the carbs. All right, guys, so to sum up weight loss, we're always going to have 5 meals. We're going to fuel that fire. Our metabolism is the reason that we're burning calories and burning off that fat. So we're going to feed the fire by having 5 meals. Each meal is, you can consider a log. We're throwing a log into the fire, keeping the fire burning, keeping our metabolism burning those calories. So once again, to review, protein vegetable with breakfast, snack. Let's say we work out between our snack and our lunch, so we'll add a carb to this snack. 2 to 3 hours later, after our workout, will be lunchtime, protein, vegetable, and carb, if you work out in that time. 2 to 3 hours later, we're gonna have another snack, which I said could be a meal replacement bar or a protein shake, and then dinner, protein and a vegetable. And to review the good protein sources, egg whites, lean cuts of meat, so lean cuts of turkey, lean cuts of red beef, lean cuts of chicken, and yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So eat your 5 meals, fuel your fire. Now let's talk about gaining weight and gaining muscle. Bam. Just reviewed the weight loss portion diet. Now we're going to review the weight gain or muscle gain diet. So it's going to follow the same format of breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Except, guys, when we're trying to gain weight, we're going to bump up our carbs, keep our energy high so we can work out harder, work out longer, and break down our muscle and repair it better by adding more protein. So first and foremost, let's start by what we can see that's different from this board from the last board. So you can see that there's 3 to 4 hour gaps, so we have longer gaps in between meals. So we're not trying to get our metabolism as on fire, as burning as much, because once again, we are trying to gain weight. We're not trying to burn weight or burn calories. We're trying to maintain calories. So you notice that's different. Another thing that's different is we have our carbohydrates added in during breakfast. We have our carbohydrates added in during lunch, but we do not have carbohydrates added in during dinner. The reason for that is we don't want, when we're gaining weight, we want to gain healthy, lean mass weight. We don't want to spill over. We don't want to get fat. We want to get big, cut, and lean. So I didn't add carbs in for our dinner on purpose for that reason. Okay, so let's start with breakfast. So we have a protein, we have a vegetable, and we have a carb. So for protein, the staple is eggs, guys. Eggs are egg whites. You have a little more lenient room when you're trying to gain weight. So whatever you kind of prefer. But still, guys, we do not want to add dairy into our diet, or do not add dairy as much into our diet, because once again, we don't want the spillover effect. We don't want to get fat as fuck. So anyways, we're going to keep the vegetable in for obvious reasons. It provides healthy benefits to our body through vitamins and minerals. So that could be really anything that you want. You guys can make an omelet with the spinach and the kale, just like we did for weight loss. Okay, but this is the crucial point. We're going to add in more carbs. More carbs equals more energy, equals better workouts, equals more opportunity for recovery to gain more muscle mass. So carbs that I like in the morning are oatmeal. You can have pancakes. It really is up to you, but once again, we don't want to overdo it. So a relatively good portion of those carbs. All right, so after the breakfast, so yeah, for the carbs, we're gonna have the oatmeal, steel-cut oats, pancakes. You guys can even do something that I really like is Kodiak protein pancakes. Those are fucking awesome. I suggest those for your carbs. So, all right, breakfast done. 3 to 4 hours later, we're gonna have our snack. So the snack is gonna be similar to the snack for the weight loss. We're gonna have a protein shake, we're gonna have a meal replacement bar. Pretty much nothing's gonna change there. So 3 to 4 hours later, we're gonna have our lunch. So lunch again is a protein, a vegetable, but now we're adding in a carb source. So for protein, we can stick with the same sort of things, lean cuts of meat, chicken, fish, all that good jazz that we talked about during weight loss. So vegetables are gonna stay relatively the same as well. Anything really of choice, and you can have any amount of vegetable that you want. Carbs. Once again, we can have, just like we talked about for the post-workout meal and the pre-workout meal and the weight loss, we can have our sweet potatoes, we can have our normal potatoes, we can have our brown rice, white rice. We can just have more carbs, because once again, more carbs equals more energy, equals better workouts, equals muscle gain. So now, 3 to 4 hours later, we're gonna have our next snack. So another meal replacement bar, another protein shake, your choice. Lastly, in the last 3 to 4 hours comes our dinner. We are not having carbs during our dinner. We do not want the spillover effects. We want to keep our carbs during our day and still revolved around our workouts so that we don't get fat as fuck, like I said before. So protein, vegetable, nothing's gonna change there. We're gonna stick with our meats. We're gonna stick with our vegetables. But let's talk about how much meat we should be eating. That's gonna increase, our protein's gonna increase. So for males that are already relatively big and don't have much more room to grow, we're gonna stay on the low end of the spectrum. We're gonna have 6 ounces. Males that are hard gainers or they don't put on muscle mass so well, we're gonna have 9 ounces. Females that are already relatively big and they're not looking to put on too much more weight, we're gonna stick around the number of 4 ounces of protein. And females that are technically hard gainers or don't put on muscle as well, we're going to stick with the number of 7 ounces. Another thing about females is females are very deficient in protein, so it's important that guys that we keep our protein going, or not girls, or not guys, sorry, girls. It's important that we keep our protein going and that we stay on top of these numbers. So that pretty much wraps it up for weight loss. How I can sum this up is, let's add a workout into this. So, all right, so let's make it different than the weight loss one. Let's say that we're gonna work out, in between lunch and this snack. So our workout is represented by this circle here. So for lunch, our carb is then gonna become a slow-acting carb. So sweet potatoes, oatmeal, quinoa, or brown rice. You're probably gonna have brown rice around lunchtime, or these sweet potatoes. So that makes our snack, we're gonna have to add a simple carb into our snack. So we're gonna stick with our protein shake, or we're gonna stick with our meal replacement bar, protein bar, except we're gonna add a carbohydrate. This carbohydrate can be a simple carb, but since we're gaining weight, we can make it even more lenient. So you guys can even go with like a Snickers bar, or we can stick with the white rice, or the starchy sort of carbs, such as like bananas and potatoes, white potatoes that is. But if you're feeling like, and you're having some cravings, you guys can throw like a Snickers bar with the protein bar, protein shake in there. So another thing that I wanted to, I wanted to talk about something else. Oh yeah, okay. Another thing, guys, that I wanted to talk about was, this may all seem like a lot to you, but it's really simple once we get onto a schedule of actually eating these 5 meals. So one way that's specifically I have done, or that I have done to make sure that I'm eating these meals, is you can set a reminder on your phone. All that reminder is going to say is eat. You can set one for around your breakfast time. You can set one in between breakfast and lunch. You can set one for lunch, in between lunch and dinner, and then you can set one for dinner. So on your phone, because we all have smartphones nowadays, you just set a reminder. It says eat. It'll remind you to eat, and then you'll know. Another way that I have made sure that I'm actually eating for weight loss and for weight gain is that I will put my food in containers. So I'll prep my meals on Sunday, or I'll prep my meals before. I'll throw them in a container. I'll put them in my fridge. So every time I open the fridge, I see the container. I know I have to eat, and it's simple because my meals are already blocked out and put into those containers. So lastly, guys, all right, let's sum up weight gain. Weight gain, we're adding more carbohydrates to increase energy, better workouts, better recovery. We're increasing protein by increasing the amounts that we're taking in. Once again, 6 to 9 ounces for males, 4 to 7 ounces for females. And we are not having carbs during dinner time to reduce spillover effect and not getting fat as fuck. Bam, guys. Okay, I hope that helps you guys with your nutrition questions. I get asked nutrition questions a ton. In the future, I will probably be offering, or I'm hoping and planning to be offering, nutrition plans and workout plans. But for now, just follow the simple guidelines that I've given you for weight loss and for weight gain. So I hope that helps. Again, if you guys haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button so you can see more content like this. Make sure we're commenting below so I can interact with you guys, answer your questions. Give this video a like if you liked it, if you like the style of it. Otherwise, guys, let's enjoy the weekend, be safe, and I'll see you on Monday.